Hello, this is Bernd Puschner from Ulm University, Germany speaking. Together with Tinili Rajapaksa, we will present the highlights from the GACD research program's mental health. Tilini and myself are co-chairs of GACD's mental health research program. Here we have an outline of our presentation. We will give an overview of the GACD's mental health projects with regards to geographical area and income status, about broad topics that are being researched, about current stage findings and challenges, and we will have a first look into publication activities. I will start now with the geographical area and income status. First, we used your project updates to get an overview of the number of GACD mental health projects per country. Here you can see a number of countries, 29 countries, which have only one GACD mental health project. Then there is also 11 countries who have two GACD mental health projects. Then there is 3 countries, which are Netherlands, North Macedonia, and New Zealand, who have 3 GACD mental health projects. There is 4 countries who have 4 to 5 projects, which are the USA, Germany, India, and Australia. And at the top of the list, there's 3 countries who have more than 9 mental health projects, which are Canada, the UK, and China. Canada and China have each 9, and the winner is the UK with 11 GACD mental health projects. We have also looked at GACD mental health projects in countries classified by the World Bank income groups. These are 4 groups: low income, lower middle income, upper middle income, and high income. You can see that there is only one country which has a mental health project in the low income group. The majority has with mental health projects is countries in the high income group, and then we have a split in lower middle income country and upper middle income countries which have mental health projects. Now this is an overview of the countries where GACD mental health projects take place by world income group. For example, you can see that the only low income country where there is research activities going on is Uganda. There is some differences from our presentation last year in Bangkok. There was 49 countries. We, as a source, we had used the GACD website. Now we use the project updates, which lists all collaborators. So there is 4 countries that are no longer listed in comparison to last year, which are Belgium, El Salvador, Malaysia, Myanmar, and Nepal. I know that Belgium has exited from the one project it was part of, and there is countries that were added. These are Guatemala, Luxembourg, Norway, Switzerland, Thailand, and the USA. I believe that most of these countries are not study locations. For example, I know that the USA is not a study location, but the 3 projects where it participates, it does that rather in an advisory role. Now we can take a look at the number of countries per GACD mental health projects. You can see on the left side that there is 6 projects which take only place in 1 country, and then the vast majority takes place in 2 countries, and then there is between 1 and 3 projects which take place in 3 or more countries, and the maximum number of countries in a mental health project is 8. And now I hand over to Tilini, who will present about the broad topics of the GACD mental health projects.
Thank you. This slide shows you the broad topics covered by the GACD mental health projects over the past year. And as you can see, there is a wide variety of topics. Prominent among them were research projects looking at addressing depression, as well as those focused on schizophrenia, first episode psychosis, or psychotic disorders. There were also several that focused on improvement of youth mental health, as well as several that were more focused on improvement of well-being and mental health resilience. Um, Also prominent were several projects which addressed the treatment gap of common mental health disorders. There were a few projects looking at child psychiatry, of which included a project on ADHD, as well as some projects focusing on prevention of alcohol misuse or other substances such as methadone. And overall, these projects used a combination of strategies. Some of them included psychosocial or psychological interventions, and some included digital mental health techniques. We next looked at the current stage or findings of the GACD mental health projects. As you can see, a majority of projects are currently ongoing. Many of them have been, as expected, impacted by COVID, but a majority are ongoing despite this. There were also a few that were nearing completion or just starting. As expected, the most commonly reported challenge or problem by a majority of projects was related to the impact of the ongoing pandemic. And problems varied from delays in starting their projects, or if projects had been started, difficulty accessing participants, or difficulty in delivering the intervention. Having said that, many projects also reported that they had adapted to the situation, for example, by adapting the nature of the intervention to suit the pandemic situation, and that they were ongoing despite difficulties. Other difficulties reported by different projects included difficulty linking with stakeholders, particularly given national level issues and practical difficulties. Also, challenges sometimes in meeting funder requirements, as well as particularly difficulties in finding appropriate staff for the projects or in retaining staff for the project. I will now hand over to Bernd for the next part.
Thank you, Tilini. I will now present a first look at publication activities of GACD mental health researchers. Um, we only looked at published papers in journals, so this slide does not show publications in preparations or submitted, or book chapters, or conference contributions, or other ways of disseminating results, for example, social media activities, meetings with stakeholders, and so forth. So for journal publications, we have a total of 52 publications so far. You can see on the slide that the vast majority of projects have not yet published in this sense, and you can see that many projects have published 1, 2, 3, or 4 papers, and only one project each have published already 6 or 7 papers. Now this is a look at the journals where GACD mental health researchers have published. You can see that there's a mix of international and national journals. For the national journals, there's, for example, the Japanese Bulletin of Traumatic stress studies, for example. Then there is a journal called Psychiatria, and there is SMAD, the Revista Electrónica de Saúde Mental, Alcohol y Drogas, from Brazil. And for the publications, it is mainly study protocols and narrative or systematic reviews. And you can also see that the international journals where researchers have published are those that do publish protocols. For example, most publications, 5 are in BMJ Open, and then there is 3 publications each in BMC Psychiatry and GMRI research protocols. So this closes our presentation. I would like to thank you very much for your attention, and Tilly and myself are now ready to discuss with you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you very much again for your attention.